Okay, g'day guys, Andrew Dwight here. Look, I've been designing now for 12 years and altogether been in the construction industry for 24. I run a construction company and I design and build my own homes. And an interesting topic that I'd like to just go over was how do we go about giving our clients a price indication on their home? If you walked into Ford or Holden or something like that and said, what's it going to cost to get a car? They would say, well, what type of car? So obviously we get a client brief, but yet still a lot of people seem to give a square metre price indication, which is understandable because clients need to know, roughly what they're going to be up for. Yet it's a very ambiguous thing to say because you'll find that clients can sometimes alter and expect more complexity for the same price. So I'm going to give you an example of how complexity will change the price per square metre and why it might not be such a good idea. Okay, so what I'm actually using here, and a lot of people probably use it as SketchUp. I'm just using it as a, I guess, formwork for Plusspec. It's some software that we created for my own company to help me get around the issue. What I'm going to quickly do now is just draw up a rectangle home and put a roof on it. I'll use the same products and so on. It's just going to be standard products, standard sort of bricks, so Austral bricks and normal, say, insulation and plasterboard and so on. Okay, so brick veneer, unfortunately, is one of the common construction methods in Australia, as you'd be aware. I definitely don't think it's the best, but no doubt I won't get any arguments from anyone there. So what I've got is a simple rectangular box. I'm going to copy that rectangular box just so I've got exactly the same thing twice. I'll create two homes here. Okay, so we'll give the home a little bit of depth. So I might just say split the walls up at the front. Oops, wrong button. I'll just split this front wall, say twice, say maybe once here and once here. And I'll just mold it a little bit, I guess, as I probably normally do. And we'll just give it some depth here and maybe a little bit shallower here. And we're basically, this is what I might do just to get a design together for a client. And at the back I might put an alfresco area or something in here. And without even realizing I was doing this, I was costing myself money. Split this one here and here, say. And I was costing the client money. So I was sculpting houses sort of quickly and just move that to there, and let's move this wall back, say 600. Say 600 millimeters. Okay, and I've sort of got a bit more depth to the home, so I'll put a roof on it. And I'll just use standard concrete tiles, and same pitch, same overhang, cement. Okay, and this little box over here. Same type of roofing. And what I can do now is, I'm looking at a small little house, single story. I think for the purpose of the exercise would be more than adequate. And what I might do is just go through, how many square meters are in these houses. So we just generate a floor face from the walls. And we might even have a bit of a look at the construction type. So I'll quickly just create some scenes and explain a few things that the tradies would probably talk about here. Obviously the bricklayer, when he's laying the bricks, he would much prefer to do this one than this one, even though the amount of square meters in this one is going to be substantially more, I would think. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so over here we've got reasonably small 105 square meter house, and over here, and obviously the larger I made a house, the bigger it would be. I'll just round these off a little bit, so that's say 90 square meters, and it'll be house B, I guess. And the one over here on the left would be house A, 105 square metres. House A. Okay. So now we've got the two houses, so 90 and 105 square metres. So logic tells us the one on the right would be cheaper to build, yet the price per square metre is not going to be the case. There'll be exactly the same amount of bricks in this house on the right as there will on the house on the left, and obviously there's more complexity in the roof, so you would think that labour costs would go up as well. There's actually more to it as well than that, so I can go and put, say, rafters inside of all my roofs here, and we can start to get into a little bit more detail. Roof tool. Might have to give this a second. It'll just choose, say, normal 90 by 35 rafters and so on, and I'll create all the rafters inside that roof, and I'll put a couple of windows in later. And on the left house I'll do the same, and we'll see if we can get an indication of the price difference in square meters versus, just double check that did that structure. Yep. Okay, do the same over here. Same size timbers and everything like that. Usually we're trussing roofs, but I'm just pitching these roofs just because it's quicker and easier for me to demonstrate what's going on. Once they're complete, we'll have a look at the complexities, the amount of studs that are required, the amount of labour content that's required, and also cappings and so on. So we might also look at, the set out of the two jobs and have a look at a couple of different things. Okay, let's just double check we got that there. Okay, so we do have our frame. So, alright, so now we're talking about carpentry here. There's actually more timber involved in this house because on a joint of a wall, we've actually got, extra studs involved. It's a reasonably simple house, and it's a common, design that I've seen a lot. This one over here has got less timber, yet the square metres of the house are a lot more. So it's an interesting way of looking at, a smaller house with more work and more cost. I'm not condoning this type of design. Would have a very boring landscape if this was the type of design that we do, but it's just an interesting calculation to come up with. I should also put in concrete slabs because that'll even it up a little bit, because obviously there's more cubic metres of concrete in a larger house. So let's quickly just put some concrete in here. Oops. Where am I? Here. And we'll just choose our footing sizes and so on. So 100mm thick slabs about normal. Say 400 wide, 400 deep, recess and so on. So I'll go submit. Actually, I might need to select a face first. Do that again. Okay, so you can see we've got an 86mm step down there, so I'll change that in a second. And I'll do this one over here. Right. Okay, let's quickly make my step down and my walls the same. Select all the connector walls, go back to my wall tool, and I'll just change my step down for my toe, 86mm. And obviously we're going to have a drop off inside of our weave, which are probably 240 roughly. I'm taking a guess there. I'll go submit, and I'll do the same with the other one. Select all my connector walls. And we've created this tool specifically for this purpose. Well, several purposes actually. We can show our clients through the houses and they can get an understanding of, the type of bricks that we're going to use. What did I say, 240. By real manufacturers, it is a benefit. Helps people with colour selections as well, so you can see that they're actually, real Austral bricks. So, all right, let's see if we can figure out a bit of a cost indication here. So really what I want to do is I might hide house B. Just get rid of that for the moment. And I did say I put windows in there too, didn't I? I'll leave them out for the moment because I think you'll get an idea. So, and I'm going to go with house A and I'm going to put a price in. So I might just quickly call this house A. Andrew would be me. Company address doesn't matter. Job address will make this house A. And we're just going to test it, and it'll be version number 1. Okay. Alright, so I'll do a takeoff in this house. Now, just so you know, all the prices are the same between the two houses. So if we went to, say, our dollar sign here, all I did was just put in indicative prices. I didn't even check them. It's just roughly from price, but it should be the same on scale, because essentially you would think that this one would actually be dearer. And same with the walls, I've got the same prices in there. And if you're just doing design only, you don't understand prices, just ring up Bunnings and get a price on material, or your local carpenter, and get them to price or work off whatever it is to put those in there. You can use Cordell's, there's a whole heap of things you can use. Alright, so I'm going to do a takeoff. Okay, it's just opened up in another screen there. Okay, so takeoff on house A. Okay, so at the moment I've got 38,379. That's supply and fit with labour, and that's just on tentative prices. So we've got termite barrier and timber framing prices and so on. Brickwork, I put in $72.50 for brickwork. Bricklayers where I am are getting $1.40 a brick. That's the calculation. There's a little bit of wastage in there as well. Roofing, we've got prices in there. So let's see how that works all together. So we've got $38,000, say $379. Just go back to my model. Oops. And I might just quickly paste that into here. Put a dollar sign in front. And I'm going to do the same with the other one as well. So what I might do is I might just unhide, edit, unhide last. I've got my second house back now, so I can hide my first house. And I can do the same thing there. So I'll do a takeoff on this house here, but I just want to quickly change the address so we don't confuse them. This is house B. Takeoff. And house B is 37,000, so let's just copy this out. Go back to my model. And this is a really small indication. Obviously the larger I got with both houses, the bigger this difference would be. Let's have a look here. Just copying and pasting. Alright, let's go and have a look at and hide them. Alright, so what have we got? We've got 105 square metres for $38,379, and we've got 90 square metres for $37,592. Now, I wouldn't have picked to that much difference in a small house, because we've got 15 square more metres in this rectangular house. Yet, our prices, we're talking about $1,000 difference. So if I was going to work out a calculation, I would divide the amount of dollars, so up here we've got $38,379 divided by 105 square metres. So we've got $365 a square metre just for the outsides and the base to lock up. Now, and those prices, as I said, I only basically quickly did those. Let's have a look at what the house per square metre is on the right hand side here. So what have I got? I've got $7,592, and I'm going to divide it by 90 square metres. I got $417 a square metre. So we can see really quickly that just the design, just in materials and labour only, and that's without adding in, the extra for complexity, because I didn't put in anything for complexity, it's just apples for apples. But just in materials, that's a huge difference in price per square metre. So imagine what happens when we get into a larger house. What I'll do is I'll put in $417 a square metre here, per square metre. And what we might do, and once I've done this, is find out how much this was. $365 a square metre. $365 per square metre. And we can look at other ways we can save the client money, and these might be things you might want to show a client, and you might even want to show them this example. Feel free to share the video. So there's other ways that we can save clients, and it's not just in the build cost, because obviously we don't want to go for a home like this. Although we could possibly look at the block and go, well, you know what, if you're only ever going to see the house from here and it's tight and there's nothing down here, well then sure. Obviously on a large open block you want the building to look better from all facades, and hopefully you can do a better job than these quick ones I've just knocked up. Yet there's other ways we can save the client money, and that would be obviously the energy consumption of the house. So you'll probably get rid of that brick veneer. You might go reverse brick veneer, or if the client can afford a double brick. Regardless, the more complex you make that home, the more that it's going to cost per square metre. So I guess one of the questions that should be asked from a client early in the piece is, what is it that you're after? And maybe you can give me an example of a house that's one of your favourites, and then you could take that into an account, and then you could possibly design with more basic construction principles if it was for a budget, and the client's main thing was budget. Look, fortunately we've got the likes of the project home companies that we can actually punt most of this kind of work to. I don't get too involved in the project, but it's a lesson that younger designers without as much experience as I might have would definitely have problems with. I'm going to give you a couple of quick examples of how we might deal with sun, and I haven't orientated these jobs, so I'll just quickly turn some shadows on here and go to the middle of summer so I can ascertain which way is north. Okay, it appears as though this is probably north here, I'm thinking. So a good way to save clients money might be to keep your windows higher on the north side. So you might say, you know what, we want our windows to sit up higher and maybe not be as deep. I'll quickly just put in some windows here. And also window size makes a difference to price as well. You notice I put in a window there which is 1 metre wide. These are set at 500 increments, and I put a flat bar in there. But if I go to say 1200 wide, I've got a flat bar there as well. The wider I go with my windows, the bigger the angle is going to be over top of them. You'll notice as I went up there to 1500, it went to a 150mm angle. So they're kind of things that you consider, and this is one thing this software does help us out a lot with. Another thing is that because I'm on the northern side there, and I'll have a look at my shadows, you can see I've got full sunlight in those windows all the way through summer. So that's not a good thing. So, you know, if that's the case, you might look at other cost-saving measures. You know, maybe you look at awnings over the windows, or increasing the size of the roof, and maybe on other aspects putting different types of glass in. So you might say, well, you know what, on these particular windows I'm going to put in low E glass, and obviously there's a cost associated with that as well. So there's things that we want to keep an eye on. So we can go to our materials, and we'll, you know, go down to here and say instead of using standard glass, we might want to use Comfort Plus, and we might even want to go for solar tint, because we need to put windows on there. We need to have windows on this facade for some reason. It's the front of the house, whatever it might be. There's plenty of reasons. So you can do that, and you can also, when you do a takeoff, you can actually also quantify this type of information. So if I went back and did my takeoff again now, it's gone back into another screen, and went to my windows, you'll notice that I now have Comfort Plus glass with solar tint and a window size which I would usually use in my documentation. I'm not going to get into turning these into 2D drawings as far as documentation, but essentially everything I've drawn there is ready for documentation if I'm using SketchUp Pro. Right. Alright, look, I hope it helps you out a little bit, and it'll be interesting to get some feedback on, you know, other cost-saving methods that you guys might use, because between us, if we share this information, it might end up that we get more work. Alright guys, we'll look at it's an interesting thing, and I look forward to your feedback. Cheers.